thing as security of tenure anymore. I heard of a woman who lived in social housing. She had arrears and they weren't insubstantial, but still, she was obviously struggling. But instead of any help being offered to her, she and her children were physically removed by bailiffs. Now she's been forced to live in her family's living room with her children. And the thought of that is just shocking and appalling. Debt is inevitable when you exist in a low-wage, high-rent economy, and you exist in a cycle of anxiety, whether it's rent, Christmas, school shoes or birthdays. These things all trigger stress when you're poor, and it's all in the name of having a roof over your family's precious heads. Something that we all have in common is a need for shelter and security, and it is a damning indictment of our society that 50 years after Cathy come home was screened and the charity shelter was established, we are facing a crisis the like of which we have never seen before. It is time, surely, that we stop building a society on the backs of hard-working poor people, the people who reap no rewards for their hard work and for their rent and everything else, and build a society in which we can all thrive and realise our dreams outside of our terminally stressful and insecure lives.
Thank you, Anna. That's one clear indication of a failed Tory policy. Housing is in a disastrous state in this country, and we need the council houses and the social housing that Jeremy Corbyn is proposing building. We need thousands of them. We need them in Cornwall. Right, next up we've got Leah. Leah comes from the Scar. She's a young mum. Last year she was inspired by Jeremy and his politics and has got active in the community and has been doing some fantastic things. She's here to take a photograph of you all and then to tell us a bit about all of that and why Jeremy Corbyn's so important.
Well, where do I start? I'm a mother of two. I live in South East Cornwall. I started South East Cornwall's People's Assembly. I also started a local community group called Liscar Community Action. So, 6 years under a Tory coalition, Tory government. I used to work as a support worker for learning disability and mental health services, supporting the most vulnerable people, empowering them, helping them have the lives that they wanted for themselves. Unfortunately, cuts. Those services were reduced, withdrawn, with catastrophic effects. Advocacy services are being removed. Common People's First are having their service cut and will no longer exist. People will no longer have that voice, they will be silenced. I'm from a large, hard-working family. 3 members of my family in the last 12 months have had to be forced to rely on food banks to feed themselves and their children. That's through job loss, injury, delay in support, through no fault of their own. My sister faced eviction. Her property was repossessed and she faced homelessness. I've watched the dissolve of my community, the reduction and removal, the privatisation of services supported by my Tory MP. I had to face a choice between supporting my eldest son, who struggles with anxiety and sensory issues, or full-time paid employment, as part-time hours on a poverty wage with extortionate childcare costs forced me to rely short-term on child tax credits and support with housing benefit. We've been juggling money, prioritising need above want. We're in a private rental property. Only earlier this year went up for sale. We're paying for rent more than double what we'd be paying for a mortgage. We're unable to save for a deposit. We were facing fear, pressure, stress, the insecurity, not knowing whether we would be able to pay utility bills if we moved, or deposit fees, potential homelessness after being there for 8 years, after building a home for 8 years. The Tory government would have me feel shame for that. I don't feel shame. Jeremy Corbyn being on the ballot paper marked the beginning of the end of austerity. I was inspired to campaign against austerity and ease austerity and the effects of austerity in my community. We source children's clothes, pre-loved children's clothes, and we redistribute them to families in need. We do fundraisers for local charities, for local initiatives. We do all we can to support initiatives to ease food poverty. In South East Cornwall, the Children Poverty Action Group have given the percentage of 26.8 children living in poverty, relative poverty. That's up 2% in a year. Debt, job loss, injury, deterioration in health, mental health, need to care and support for loved ones, things that are out of our control. This can all happen to anyone, and the support is being gradually eroded. The vilification of the disabled, the vilification of the sick, of stay-at-home parents, of immigrants, of low-income families. Jeremy Corbyn is not just a radical left-wing MP. He is fearless. He is human. He is on the right side of history. He passionately fights injustice and inequality. He has genuine empathy, compassion and understanding. Jeremy does not only outline a Labour future of hope. Should he remain leader, he outlines a future of hope to all. Austerity is failing.
Brilliant stuff from Leah. She's doing fantastic work in Liscard and an example to all of us. We don't need to just lie down and take this crap from the Tories. We can actually help ourselves, stick together, be the community. The Labour Party is the community. We are in every community now in numbers, with by far the largest party in Cornwall, by far the largest party in the UK. In fact, we're now the largest political party in Europe. We can change things. We can make our own communities better. We can work together, help each other. Now, there's been some stuff said about people like us, people who support Jeremy. Somebody wrote a letter which was widely circulated on social media in response, and she's going to come and read it out to you now in case you haven't seen it. Say hello to Susan Shan.
Hello, can you hear me? Ben Bradshaw is our nearest Labour MP in Exeter. And not very long ago, he called people like us thugs. And I was moved to write him a letter. And this is what I said. Dear Ben Bradshaw, I'm a 63-year-old pensioner. I've never been a member of a political party before, but I have been a Labour voter. Well, except when I came to live in Liskeard, where the Labour presence had died from lack of interest 20 years ago. We were all advised to vote Lib Dem to keep the Tories out. I don't want to do that any longer. I want to be able to vote Labour and have my vote count towards a truly democratic socialist future. I joined the Labour Party after the 2015 election shambles because it was obvious it needed help. I stayed because for once a politician was saying what I had thought for some considerable time. Corbyn's policies have yes value for those of us who've taken the brunt of Tory austerity and cuts. Policies backed by the very party who we thought was supposed to be protecting our interests.